So here we are. A few years ago, I wanted to make an aquaponics system. I was always like, wow, that sounds like a great idea. I got to do that. And I was always intimidated. Then finally we said, the heck with it, let's do it. So we started off real simple. We just dug a hole and got some plastic and lined the hole and filled it with water. And then we caught wild fish like this, little minnow from the brook. And we have catfish that we raise to a certain size and then put into our pond. Like right now I don't have any store-bought feed, so I'm just feeding them bread and corn and worms and maggots and whatever, you know, bugs we find we throw in here and they gobble it up. It's just a few fish in here, maybe like wouldn't even fill about half this net. But it's going to drive this, that's going to be enough to drive this whole system. So one thing that the fish need is oxygen, so we have a little air pump going in there right now because we don't have the actual aquaponics pump set up, and so water's not flowing and bubbling, so they're going to need oxygen. This is a pretty cheap unit. I can't remember what it costs, around 25 bucks. It's just a little air pump. We plug it into 110 that we have out here in the greenhouse. You could get them to run on solar, easy enough. Okay, so we have enough biological activity going on in the little pond now that it can feed the plants, so we're going to start to load our plants into the system. First thing that we need to do is get the water flowing through the system, and for that we use this pump. Here's a 24-watt pump. You can adjust the flow here, so you can control how much water is going through your system. I always set it up. There's two shelves in the pond here. There's a really deep one, and there's a shallower one. I always set this pump up on the shallower one in case there's a glitch and it pumps the pond dry. There's always still a little pocket of water for the fish to survive in. That's happened to us before. All the water pumped right out of the pond and the fish were flapping in the bottom. So I plug that in. Woohoo! And I got water flowing. And I'm going to plug that into the pump, to the hose that feeds the aquaponics system. And watch, come on down here. Here's our water full of fish poop, nitrogen, which will make degrades into something and makes ammonia, which the plants feeds the plants. Here we have an outflow hose, and that is going to when the water fills up here, that water is going to flow out this hose back into the fish pond. Here it comes. So here are the plants we've started in what we call plugs. These are little plugs. And these ones I bought, but you can make them out of peat moss. Even some people make them out of old insulation that they soak, and they get their plants going in that. Here's basically what you need. The broken clay bits. You could use old bricks smashed up. Your plants that are started in little plugs, and your cups, and your growing system. We've got 2 cups in place, and I'll show you what it looks like when everything's in place. We have a little overflow problem going on over there. We'll get that fixed. Alright, so we take these old beer cups and but they have slits in them for the water to flow through. And then we have this material. It's just clay bits. And we put a little in there, and then we take a plug and we get that in there, and we put them in low in the beginning so that the roots can reach the water, and then afterwards we'll raise them up in the cup so that they can grow, so they don't get overwatered. Now we come over here, and here's the water here, right? There's the fishy water. And we set this down in there so that the fishy water will be touching the plug. And that's what we're going to do all along here, just like that with all these plants. And now that that's coming into the pond and trickling in like that and making bubbles, we'll not need the aerator anymore. Here we have basil planted, little basils. And down here we have a lot of chard planted, Swiss chard. And here on the very end we have cucumbers. And we'll try that. We've always grown lettuce here, but we thought we'd try something new. Anyway, that's it.